Jack, you noted earlier that you kind of went the other way. Everybody was picking up a guitar. You got a harmonica. Did having a background in playing harmonica when you picked up guitar later, did that directly or indirectly have any influence on a song you wrote, or apples and oranges?
Oh, I don't know that it did. I mean, I played harmonica. My friend picked up the guitar, and in 6 months, he could play everything by the Beatles exactly the way it sounded on the record. And, you know, I still haven't caught up to how good he got in 6 months, you know. But I played harmonica with him, and we were a blues thing, you know. So, and then eventually, when everybody wasn't looking, I eventually picked up the guitar, started sneaking a few chords in. But.
And was there a moment where you either learned a new guitar or just some new musical concept, even if it was not in any way a formal concept, but just something, and you thought, hey, not only will that work, but I can write incorporating that?
Yeah, I mean, at one point I tried those cool chords there. I mean, I was always a really terrible guitar player, and in the folk era that I came from, taking lessons and all that was really frowned upon. That whole thing was frowned upon. It was like learning music was going to kill your folk music thing. It's going to kill your music thing. So I just, for a while, I just bought into that, you know, and I was just like, no, man, you just... But then I got this book, Mickey Baker's jazz guitar book, and on the first page, there's a whole bunch of chords. So I was trying to learn those chords, and my friend Greg Leese, who's one of the best guitar players now in the world, has played with every album from Bob Dylan to Joni Mitchell to, you know, everybody. And he says, yeah, there's still a few chords on that page that I can't play, you know. So, but I learned 3 or 4 of the chords, and then I said, I'm not going to remember these unless I write a song. And that's a good plan if you want to try to remember something musically. If you write a song, every time you play the song, you have to play it, and then you remember it. Otherwise, you don't. I've learned to read music a lot of times through the notes on the staff and all that, and I always just instantly forget it, and it slips right out of my mind. So, but I wrote this to remember the end of the affair was bound to come. You can't just walk away when you love someone. You look and then you look again, and yet there's nothing there. The end of the affair. You're not the only one. There were more just like you. It's everybody do what you need to do. You're right, she's wrong, and yet she's gone. There's just an empty chair. The end of the affair. And then I had some more fancy parts. With another chord.
Well, now we're going to reverse order and begin with you, Jack, and come back. We had an interview last week in the paper with Willie Nelson, who made a really intriguing, well, many of his quotes are very intriguing, but he was talking about being a young, up-and-coming, struggling singer-songwriter in Nashville back in the early 1960s. And this is right before Patsy Cline recorded Crazy, and he became quite in demand. And he said he thought that you ought to be able to write a song about anything, quote, unquote. And first time I ever heard you perform solo, you were opening for David Grisman, and I seem to recall, what does the word mango have any?
Mango.
Any resonance? And I don't I don't know if you were joking or if you really actually were contacted to write a song, but if you could tell it either way and sing it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, I used to mention that I was contacted by the Hawaiian Fruit Growers Association to write this commercial because they wanted to have more worldwide distribution of mangoes and they needed something to spice up the image. That's a total lie, but that's what I used to say. And I had this song and I gave it early on to my publisher when I first signed with Warner Brothers Publishing. How many ever signed it with a publisher? Okay. Well, just don't do it again. Okay, don't do it again. But anyway, and I sent them this song, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's a great song. Except, can you just change that line, which was like the main line of the chorus?" Yeah. So I probably could have made a lot of dough and been successful, but instead, I just chose to ignore them and keep it the way it was. Tropical paradise, way out across the ocean, where the clouds roll by in the big blue sky, dolphins play on a sunny day. Love seems to come so easily, then you pick the fruit of the mango tree. Oh, the ripe and juicy mango, the ripe and juicy mango, the ripe and juicy mango, the mango of the mangoettes singing that in the back. Clouds roll by, I mango you, baby. Big blue sky, and I know that you mango me. You and me in the warm tropical sea. On our fantasy deserted island, so very far away, like a picture painted on a canvas backdrop for some cheap high school play. We lie alone on a long white beach on a lazy sunny day, and the sand is warm beneath our feet, and all of life is ripe and sweet, like the ripe and juicy mango, the mango of love. Thank you.